In the beginning, there was only chaos, an empty void where fire and ice clashed. But from the fall of the first giant, Ymir, the 9 realms were born, shaping the world as we know it. This is their story. Before the world was shaped and before the gods had names, there was only Ginnungagap, the great yawning void. It was a place of absolute nothingness, where no light shone, no wind stirred, and no life could exist. Yet, within this vast emptiness lay the seeds of creation, waiting for the moment when fire and ice would meet. To the north of Ginnungagap lay Niflheim, the realm of ice and mist. It was a land of endless frost, where the cold winds howled through jagged glaciers and rivers of ice flowed with a sluggish, frozen current. At its heart was Virgelmir, the great wellspring from which 12 rivers, the Olivigar, flowed out into the void. These rivers carried with them the essence of ice, freezing everything in their path and extending the reach of Niflheim's chill. To the south of Ginnungagap burned Muspelheim, a realm of searing flames and consuming heat. Unlike Niflheim, where the silence of ice reigned, Muspelheim was a land of roaring infernos. Geysers of molten rock erupted from the blackened earth, and rivers of fire flowed endlessly. At its heart stood Surtur, the first and mightiest of the fire giants, wielding a flaming sword that could set the cosmos ablaze. It was said that Surtur waited in his realm, his sword ever burning, until the time of Ragnarok, when he would ride forth to burn the world. For countless ages, Ginnungagap remained a place of quiet tension, caught between the creeping cold of Niflheim and the searing heat of Muspelheim. But fate would not allow the void to remain empty forever. In time, the frozen rivers of Olivigar stretched too far into Ginnungagap, and their icy edges met the fiery heat that spilled from Muspelheim. The clash of these two primal forces caused the ice to melt, forming drops of water that swirled within the void. From this chaotic mingling of fire and ice, Ymir, the first of the frost giants, was born. He was vast and terrible. His body formed from a mingling of the elements, and his breath carried the cold winds of Niflheim. As Ymir slumbered, sweat gathered upon his skin, and from this sweat, new beings emerged. From under his left arm grew a man and a woman, the first of the Jotnar, the race of giants. From his feet came another monstrous being, a son who would give rise to many more frost giants. Ymir's children spread throughout the void, growing in numbers, filling the spaces between the ice and fire. But Ymir was not alone. Alongside him, born from the melting ice, was Odhamla, the great cosmic cow. She was enormous, her coat thick and white like the glaciers of Niflheim. From her udder flowed rivers of milk, nourishing Ymir and allowing him to grow in power. Odhamla, too, needed sustenance. She found nourishment in the salty ice that surrounded her and began to lick it. For days, she licked at the frozen blocks until something remarkable happened. Beneath the ice, she uncovered a shape, a being frozen within. With each stroke of her tongue, the ice melted away until at last, a man emerged. This was Buri, the first of the gods. Buri was strong and radiant, different from the monstrous Ymir and his children. He stood tall and proud, a sign of what was to come. From Buri came his son Bor, and Bor in time took a wife, Bestla, a Jotun woman of great wisdom. Together, they bore 3 sons, Odin, Vili, and Ve, the first of the Aesir gods and the architects of the worlds to come. Odin and his brothers grew in power, and they saw the growing number of Jotnar spreading through the void. They knew that if left unchecked, the giants would consume everything. A great decision was made. Ymir must fall, and a new world must rise from his body. A battle unlike any before took place in the void of Ginnungagap. Odin, Vili, and Ve stormed across the cosmos, their weapons gleaming with divine fury. They struck down Ymir with all their might, and as his body fell, his blood rushed out like a great flood. The torrents of crimson water drowned the frost giants, wiping out nearly all of Ymir's descendants. Only a few survived, fleeing to the farthest reaches of the cosmos. Now, with Ymir slain, the gods set about the great work of creation. From Ymir's flesh, they shaped the land. From his blood, they made the seas and rivers. From his bones, they built the mountains. From his skull, they formed the sky, setting it high above as a great dome. From his brain, they crafted the clouds, swirling and shifting across the heavens. To bring light into the world, they took sparks from Muspelheim's raging fires and set them into the sky as stars. They placed the sun and moon upon great chariots and appointed two divine beings, Sol and Mani, to guide them across the heavens. With the world now taking shape, Odin and his brothers turned their attention to creating the realms. 1. Asgard, the realm of the Aesir. At the highest point in the cosmos, Odin and his kin built Asgard, a grand and shining realm where the Aesir gods dwelled. Here stood Valhalla, Odin's great hall, where fallen warriors, the Einherjar, feasted until they would fight once more at Ragnarok. The Bifrost, a rainbow bridge guarded by Heimdall, connected Asgard to Midgard and the other realms. 2. Midgard, the realm of humans. In the center of creation, Odin and his brothers shaped Midgard, the world of men. To protect it, they encircled it with Jormungandr, the world serpent, who lay coiled in the vast ocean surrounding the land. Midgard was linked to Asgard by Bifrost, but it remained a place of mortality, where men lived and died under the watchful eyes of the gods. 3. Jotunheim, the realm of the giants. Beyond Midgard lay Jotunheim, a rugged land of frost giants Jotnar, Ymir's descendants. Unlike Asgard's divine order, Jotunheim was wild and untamed, filled with mountains, dark forests, and deep caverns. The giants, ever opposed to the gods, plotted and waited, seeking to challenge the rule of the Aesir. 4. Vanaheim, the realm of the Vanir. To the west of Asgard lay Vanaheim, the home of the Vanir gods, who were masters of fertility, wisdom, and seer magic. Unlike the warlike Aesir, the Vanir were deeply attuned to nature and prophecy. After a great war between the Aesir and Vanir, peace was forged, and hostages were exchanged in Jord, Freyr, and Freya came to Asgard, while Honir and Mimir were sent to Vanaheim. 5. Alfheim, the realm of the light elves. High above Midgard near Asgard was Alfheim, home of the radiant light elves Ljosulfar. Ruled by Freyr, these elves were ethereal and beautiful, dwelling in a land of eternal light. They were said to be wiser and more graceful than men, often influencing fate in unseen ways. 6. Svartalfheim, the realm of the dwarves. Deep beneath the earth in caverns and forges lay Svartalfheim, the domain of the dwarves, Dokalfar or Svartalfar. Master blacksmiths, they crafted many legendary weapons and treasures, including Thor's hammer Mjolnir, Odin's spear Gungnir, and the golden boar Gullinbursti. Though gifted artisans, they preferred to remain hidden from the eyes of both gods and men. 7. Muspelheim, the realm of fire. At the edge of the cosmos burned Muspelheim, a land of endless flames, ruled by Surtur, the fire giant. His blazing sword would one day ignite the world in Ragnarok, consuming everything in fire. Muspelheim was home to a legion of fire giants who waited for the final battle. 8. Niflheim, the realm of ice and mist. In contrast to Muspelheim, Niflheim was a land of frost, filled with mist and bitter cold. From here, icy rivers known as a Livagar flowed, and the wellspring Virgelmur lay hidden, from which all life once emerged. It was a realm of darkness and ancient power, untouched by the warmth of the sun. 9. Helheim, the realm of the dead. Beneath the roots of Yggdrasil, the great world tree, lay Helheim, the land of the dead. It was ruled by Hel, the daughter of Loki, whose face was half living and half decayed. Unlike Valhalla, where honored warriors dwelled, Helheim was a cold, shadowy place where those who died of sickness or old age lingered, awaiting the end of all things. To connect the realms, Odin placed the mighty Yggdrasil, the world tree, at the center of existence. Its roots and branches stretched across the cosmos, linking the worlds together. Beneath its roots, the three Norns, Ord, Verdandi, and Skuld, gathered at the Well of Ord, weaving the threads of fate for all beings, even the gods themselves. With the 9 realms established, the gods took their place in Asgard, gazing upon their creation. But even as they marveled at their work, they knew that fate was already in motion. Ymir's death had not ended the threat of the giants. Surtur still burned in Muspelheim, the Jotnar still roamed Jotunheim, and deep beneath the world, Hel watched over the dead, waiting for the day when Ragnarok would come. Thus began the age of the 9 realms, each bound together in a delicate balance, their fates intertwined with the will of the gods. Though the gods ruled Asgard and men walked Midgard, the fate of all realms was bound to the great prophecy of Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods. When the time came, the forces of fire and ice would rise, the realms would tremble, and the gods themselves would meet their doom. But until that day, the 9 realms stood in balance, woven together by the unseen hands of fate.